Hi, authors. So, according to YouTube, it says that I'm live. It's showing the time there. So, apparently, I am live. I just wanted to come on here for whoever may happen to jump in on tonight. And basically, I just wanted to give a little introduction to myself, try out the YouTube live thing since this is my first time actually going live on YouTube, and also describe or answering some questions about some hot topics that a lot of authors have questions about. So, who am I? My name is Tanisha Stewart. I am a Amazon best-selling author of multiple genres. So, I write Christian fiction, I write nonfiction, I write thrillers, I write contemporary romance, urban romance. I write in a number of different genres. And in addition to being an author, I am also a literary entrepreneur, meaning that I serve a number of different roles. So I offer a number of different services for authors, including editing, book formatting, ghostwriting, author coaching, test reads, manuscript reviews. The list goes on and on and on, all the way down to publication assistance. And in addition to that, I also offer courses for authors. So I have a book optimization course, which basically helps authors to get their books optimized to the point where they are in the best position possible to reach more readers. And then I also offer an Amazon ads course, which shows you multiple ways on how to run Amazon ads effectively. So if you're interested in any of those services, you can reach out to me. So I'm Tanisha Stewart. You can reach out to me on here, or you can reach out to me on Facebook, Tanisha Stewart Author. You can find me on there. I have a website, TanishaStewartAuthor.com. So there's a number of different places you can contact me. If you search me on Google, you'll probably find me. But anywho, so there was a couple of different topics that I wanted to discuss on here today. And these topics came as a product of request. So I released a number of videos providing different content for authors to help them understand more about the writing and publishing journey as a self-published author. And one of the people who watched one of my videos, they commented underneath it and they said that they liked the video. It was very informative, but they wished that I would go more in depth on certain topics. So here I am. And I asked the individual which topics would they like to hear more about, which topics would they like to learn more about. And they said that they would like to hear or learn more about KDP Select as well as rapid release strategies. So I'll discuss them not in any particular order, but I'll discuss both of those in turn. In addition to that, I also will discuss like the pros and cons of each approach and using these things. So, but before I do that, I would like to tell everybody if you are watching or if you're watching a replay of this, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, etc., etc. So subscribe to my channel, like, share, and if you want to check out any of my books, my latest thriller is actually available in on Amazon, as you could probably glean, and it's called Every Voice Ain't From God. So check this out. It's a Christian romance thriller. So check this out. It's getting a lot of good reviews because some of the characters engage in some very interesting antics, to say the least. But check that out if you like reading thrillers. I think it's a good story. You'll probably like it. But anyway, all right. So let's get into these topics. So the first topic is KDP Select. So it goes by a number of different names, and some authors may be familiar with some of the names and not one of the other ones. But KDP Select is essentially the option that Amazon offers for authors to enroll their books in Kindle Unlimited. So most people are familiar with what Kindle Unlimited or KU is. And basically, for anyone who is not familiar with it, Kindle Unlimited or KU is essentially like a Netflix for authors. So it's kind of like a Netflix for authors, essentially, where you can upload your books and you are paid for every page that is read out of your books by readers. So if someone downloads your book, they enter into a borrowing system where they're able to borrow a certain number of books at a given time. After they scroll through all the pages of your book, they return it and then they go get another book, essentially. So that's how the process works on the reader's end. On the author's end, when somebody downloads your book, you don't necessarily get a payment for that. But once they start actually scrolling through the pages, even if they only read one page of your book, every single page of your book that they scroll through and read is counted as part of the system for you to get paid for that. So essentially like Netflix for books. a lot of authors have questions about this, especially when they're first starting out. They say like, should I do Kindle Unlimited? Is this something that I should enroll my books in? People have questions about whether it's worth it, whether you actually get a positive return on it, and what are the pros and cons of the approach. What I would say is that it really doesn't matter if you decide to use KU or not use KU. Part of it depends on your marketing strategy. Part of it depends on the genre that your book is a part of, and part of it depends on reader expectations in that genre as well. So, for example, a lot of the books that I write in, or a lot of the genres that I write in, readers actually prefer to use KU because they like to just download a book, read through the pages, download another book. They're an avid reader. They're reading on a rapid schedule at all times, and they may not have the money to go and spend $20 on a bunch of different paperbacks. If you get 5 paperbacks, that's $100 at $20 a piece. But on the flip side, for only like less than $10 a month, I believe. I forget how much KU actually costs per month, but they pay a monthly fee that is very minimal, and they can essentially borrow as many books as they want during that month. So it is a win-win for readers because you can just download the book, scroll through the pages, read whatever you want to read. If you don't like the book, you can return it. There's no loss to the author, and you just go on about your business essentially on KU. So so a lot of authors may have the question is, what's the good part of this for us? Like, does this actually help us as an author? And I would say that depending on your genre, of course, because some genres, the readers actually do prefer to buy the book outright. And you won't really know that unless you do more in-depth research on your particular genre. But I will say for the genres that I write in, a lot of them, the readers do have a preference for KU. They also still do purchase paperbacks. They still do purchase ebooks, but they do have somewhat of a preference for KU in that they will download the book, scroll through the pages, etc., etc. Now, when it comes to payment, the way that KU works, so you're paid for every page that is read, as we already said. But in addition to you being paid for every page that is read, you're also paid out of a fund. So there's a monthly fund that Amazon compiles from, I guess, a number of different sources. And they release the numbers for that fund around the 15th or so of every single month. So you won't know till the 15th of the next month how much you're definitely getting paid per page of the previous month. That's one of the things that could potentially be seen as a con when it comes to KU. So, for instance, this is July. Right now, you're going to get an estimate if you look at your KDP report showing you how many pages you have read for the month, et cetera, et cetera. Your pages read is going to be accurate, but how much you're getting paid for those pages read might be slightly inaccurate. And for some authors, depending on how many pages they have read and how much they earn on a month to month basis, this could be a difference of hundreds of dollars. So that is something that could potentially be seen as a con. So what I mean by that is, let's say that on August 15th next month, let's say that report comes out and it says that the fund that is allotted for KU readers is actually less than it was last month. What that means is the estimated amount that you have in your report when you're checking it this month is actually going to be lowered. So I've seen this happen before with some of my books, where during the month that people are actually reading my books, I'll come up with, let's just throw out a random number. Let's say I made 4,500 or so based on the pages that were read. I made 4,500 for the month. The next month, if the fund was actually lower than what they estimated, that could mean potentially instead of getting paid 4,500, now I'm really getting paid 4,200 or 4,100 for that month. Usually it's not that significant of a drop, but sometimes it can be, depending on how much the fund fluctuates from month to month. So that is something that could potentially be seen as a con for some readers, or not for readers, but for authors. That could potentially be seen as a con because you kind of have no way of knowing the definite amount that you're going to get paid every single month until the following month. So that could be seen as one con for KU. Another potential con for KU is that some authors prefer to do something called going wide. And going wide basically is when an author wants to put their book on multiple platforms. So if they want to put their book on Barnes and Noble, they want to put it on Kobo, they want to put it on Lulu, they want to put it on all the other sites that are out there. If you enroll your book in KDP Select or Kindle Unlimited, you're not allowed to do this. And the reason for that is it's supposed to be an exclusive contract. So you're not allowed to put your books on other sites while it's in KU. So it's kind of like putting all your eggs in one basket. So some authors would see that as a con, some authors may not. The reason why some would see it as a con is because some genres, depending on what you're writing in, readers actually prefer to read their books from different sites. So again, this would take more research into your genre to see like what the readers within your genre have an expectation for and what sites they primarily use to download their books or to purchase their books. If you find that your readers have a tendency to want to go wide or to go to different sites to purchase their book other than Amazon, then you might consider not using KU or not using KDP Select and then just putting your book on the other sites. On the flip side, since Amazon is the largest book retailer, it's safe to say that the majority of readers and a majority of genres probably will have most of their readers or the vast majority of their readers housed on Amazon. So since it holds the largest market share, most readers probably will be on Amazon. So in that case, it kind of makes sense to just go ahead and use KU. All it is another avenue stream of income for you. So you could get paid for direct sales from your regular ebook. You could get your paperback, your hardcover, your Audible if you choose to put your book on ACX. And in addition to that, using KU, that's an additional stream of income for you. So some authors would decide to say like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use KU because that's the majority of the market share anyway. I think if they own like 70%, or it might even be more than that of the market when it comes to books. So for some authors, they're like, I'm not really losing anything by having my books exclusively on KU. All it is adding another stream of income. And then another that leads into like another, like, I guess, pro for KU. A lot of authors, their primary income is from KU. So like they may not get that many ebook sales, but they'll get tons of streams of their book where people are actually scrolling through the pages of their book and actually reading it via KU. So depending on who your readers are, what your readers normally expect, it could really be a win for you as an author to use KU, despite the fluctuating numbers each month, and despite the fact that you can't go wide if you're using your book on KU, it can still be more beneficial overall to use it. If you're still on the fence and you feel like I don't really know, I don't know whether my books are going to go well, do well going wide, or whether they'll be better off using just KU, you can actually try both. So what some authors do is they actually have a strategy where they go on and off KU throughout the year. So then when they first release their book, if it's a new release, because you have to do it on like a 90-day cycle when you enroll in KU. So once you choose it, you're locked in for 90 days. But once that 90 days are up, you can actually take your book out of KU if you wanted to, and you can put it back in. So what some authors do as a strategy for this is they actually release their book as a new release on KU. They keep it there for the 90 days, accumulate as many page reads, whatever, get as many reviews or whatever it is that they're trying to get from it within those first 90 days. Once those 90 days are up, they take their book out of KU, spread it out to the other websites, and hopefully, with the momentum that's been gained from their initial release, with all the reviews and accolades, et cetera, that they've gotten so far with this book, it will help to provide more exposure when they do go wide. So they put it on all these other sites, see how it does there, and they might do that for 90 days. They might do that for a longer period of time. They might do it for however long they decide. If they find that their books are not really doing as well as they did while they were on KU, then what they do is just take their books off of those sites and put them right back on KU. So it's a strategy that authors use where they kind of fluctuate back and forth, where they might decide to put it in there for a while, put it there for 3 months, 6 months, however, take it out for a period of time, and then put it right back in. And then sometimes that can help to keep the momentum of sales going because readers don't know how long it's going to be in KU, how long it's not going to be in KU. If they have a preference for it, they better get it while it lasts, type thing. So that can be an effective strategy, and it can be a way for an author to get the best of both worlds. So that's KU in a nutshell. If anybody's watching a replay of this or has any questions now, feel free to put the questions in the chat, and then or just comment if you're watching the replay, and then I can perhaps make another video, et cetera, later on. All right. So the other topic that I was going to discuss is rapid release strategy. So rapid release strategy, some authors use this strategy and some do not, either due to, having too busy of a schedule, or just not, they don't want to feel like the pressure of doing such a thing, or they feel like this strategy would not work for them. But what is rapid release? So rapid release is pretty much exactly how it sounds. When you release on a rapid schedule, basically what it is you're giving yourself an allotted amount of time to release your books, essentially. So if I say that I'm on a rapid release schedule and I'm releasing a book a month, that means that every single month I'm expecting myself to release a book. And some authors do this by putting their books on pre-order. So they might have all their books on pre-order, scheduled out for a whole year, to where in January they have a book, February they have a book, March they have a book, and it's all on pre-order. So you can immediately download, or not download, but order all of their books all at once. And when the books actually release, you just get them delivered directly to your Kindle. Other authors prefer a more flexible schedule, to where they might put it out to every 45 days rather than every month, or every 2 months, or even every 3 months. It really depends, but I would say 3 months is probably pushing it for a rapid release schedule, but 3 months is probably right there within the border for releasing a book on a consecutive time frame. So rapid release can be very, very useful because it can help to sustain and maintain momentum, and also build momentum. So if readers like that first book, especially if this is a series, so you could do this with series and or standalones. You could release series standalone, or you could do all standalones, or you can do all series. So you could do a mixture, or just all one or all the other. But it could particularly work with a series if readers like that first book, and they know for a fact that this next book is coming within the next month, 45 days, 2 months, 3 months. They can pre-order it, and you can already have sales accumulating for that next book before it even comes out. So that way the author can continue to build more momentum. And usually with every single book that is released in a series, if provided that people like the previous books, your readership will grow and bloom and blossom. So this could be a very, very effective strategy for authors if they want to go in that vein of using the rapid release strategy. You can also do this with standalone. So if people like that first standalone, you can have the next standalone on pre-order, and then do the same thing that you would do with the series, except now these are just standalone books, and also do the same thing with a mixture. So if you have a part one of a series, then you're going to drop a standalone in the meantime while they're waiting for number two. You can do it the same way. And either way, it's going to help you to build momentum in terms of sales, in terms of exposure, in terms of reader interest. They're like that you always got something coming for them. You're always feeding their appetites for whatever genre you write in. So it can be very, very helpful on that end. As far as cons are concerned, I would say the main con is if you have your books on pre-order, but you have not already written them or had them edited, that might pose an issue for you. So if you have a book on pre-order and the days are just clicking on by, and the days are getting lower and lower and lower and lower, and then you're like down to like the last week or something and you haven't finished the book, that could put a lot of stress and pressure on an author. And then if you have to extend, um because it allows you to extend it, I think twice or so. The first time you're extending a book, it allows you to extend the book maybe twice or so during a year's time frame. So if you have one book that you're having trouble finishing, or having trouble with the edits or whatever, you can extend it up to two times, I believe. And after that second time, your book is going to get canceled, and then you'll lose all future pre-orders for a year, essentially. So it could be a lot of pressure on an author to make sure that they meet those deadlines. And then that could lead to another set of issues, to where the author might have rushed to get a book out. It wasn't really fully plotted out correctly. It had some holes, some inconsistencies. Readers complain, and then their ratings go down. And then it kind of defeats the purpose of why they were doing rapid release in the first place. So that could be one of the cons, if the book is not finished, or and then the author had to rush, or it just wasn't finished and then it ended up getting canceled as a result of that. So it makes you look bad in Amazon's eyes, as well as with readers' eyes. So if you're going to do a rapid release strategy, I would suggest that in an ideal situation, and I probably should do this myself when I'm doing rapid release, is in an ideal situation, your books would already be, at least the rough draft of the books will already be written before you put them on pre-order. Or don't have them on pre-order. Just be like, I'm gonna have in my mind and in my heart to release these books on every month or every 45 days or whatever I chose for myself, but I'm not putting it on pre-order just in case. So that is something, but then you run into issues with that as well, because if the readers are waiting 6 months for the next book and it's not on pre-order, see, I didn't say it was coming and then it didn't come. But at the same time, if they're waiting 6 months, that's technically not a rapid release. So it also has its own cons associated with it. So not putting the books on pre-order can have pros in that you don't have that pressure to like hurry up and get it out before a deadline, but at the same time it can lead to the same exact conclusion where readers start to like kind of lose interest if too much time has passed between the first book and the second one. A possible remedy for that, if you don't have all your books already written and you still want to do kind of a rapid release, even if you can't do it every 3 months or so, what one thing that you can do is have all your books outlined. So that's one thing. So have all your books outlined, at least a rough sketch of what is going to happen in each book, the main points, et cetera, for each book, the climactic scenes, all of that. If you have your books outlined, it makes it a lot easier to write. And it really doesn't matter how well you outlined it, as long as you have a rough sketch of what's going to happen in each book. The more detailed, the easier. But as long as you have some kind of rough outline to know that you have enough story to pace along for your series or for your standalones, then that will actually help. Another one, if you don't want to write the books like fully ahead of time or have them fully outlined ahead of time, is you can give readers updates. So you can say like, hey, I've written 10,000 words on the first book in this series. Or if it's a standalone, you could say, my upcoming release, I've written X amount of words. I'm going to jump in and write 10,000 more today or 5,000 more today or whatever. And then keep readers updated on what you're doing as you're doing it, essentially. And then that will create in their minds, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So their appetites are still being whetted because you're still giving them information about this book. You could drop some excerpts, you can show them like an exclusive sneak peek of um something that's going to happen in a book. You could give them clues of what the story is about. You could give them character visuals. You can make a live video talking about it, doing Q&A. There's all different types of things that you can do to keep the momentum going despite not having a book up on pre-order already or not doing as rapid of a release that you would have wanted to do. In a perfect ideal world, your books would come out on the exact time that you want them to come out, in the exact way that wanted them to come out, with no delays whatsoever, and your momentum would continue to build. But these are just in case strategies. So just in case you're not able to release on a schedule that you want to, at least keep the readers abreast of what you're doing. Um, if you have a readers group, if you have an email list, you can continue to build those in the meantime, continue to produce content related to your books, and then that will help the readers to continue to be interested in what it is that you have going on. And then when the book releases, now they've got what they've been waiting for. Hopefully they enjoy it, they leave you reviews, et cetera, and then now they're hungry for that next book. And then you can do the exact same process with the next one. You can provide updates, provide excerpts, et cetera, and just keep going from there. So those were the two strategies that I was requested to discuss. Hopefully this was helpful for the people who will have a chance to either watch it now or watch the replay. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. So just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get all the notifications for this page. I will continue to produce content that I believe is quality and I believe is helpful for authors. If you like thrillers, check out my latest release, Every Voice Ain't From God. So check that out. It's a very, very interesting book, getting a lot of positive reviews. And once again, this was Tanisha Stewart. So I'll talk to you later.